Out of the flames of fear, we rise with courage of our deepest convictions to stand for justice, inclusion, and peace. Out of the flames of scrutiny, we rise to proclaim our faith with hope to heal a fractured and hurting world. Out of the flames of doubt, we rise to embrace the mystery, wonder, and awe of all that there is and all that is yet to be. Out of the flames of hate, we rise with the force of love, love that celebrates our shared humanity. Out of the flames, we rise.
I wanted to share this meditation intention with you all that I wrote. It's going to require some back and forth, so we're going to have to practice before I share. And we're going to clap together. That's what it's going to be. So what I'd like you to do is get ready, pay attention, and when I clap, you're going to clap at the same time as me. Okay? It's going to sound a little off, and then we'll probably actually clap at the same time. Okay? Get ready. Okay. So, right? That just feels awesome when I hear that. Okay. So I am going to read this meditation, and when I clap, I'd like you to clap with me at that same time, okay? We are clearing space to make room for you and all you will to do. Intention, packing up, sorting out, making space to grow our attention into the present. We present what we will, our attention, to be or not to be, like a jumbled up mess in my head. Set attention on intention to be free from detention, right? Yeah. So I'm going to read that without us clapping, just so you can hear it. But what it says is, we are clearing space to make room for you and all you will to do. Intention is packing up, sorting out, making space to grow our attention into the present. We present what we will our attention to be or not to be, like a jumbled up mess in my head. So, set attention on intention to be free from detention. So I hope you all can kind of find that a fun little meditation, that we don't need to be still and silent. We can be moving and we can be grooving while we're doing it. So thank you. Thank you.
Compassion, The start of the new year is a time when many people choose to make resolutions or to set intentions for the year to come. Some people choose a single word to focus on or reflect upon. Ritual helps us to remind ourselves of the commitments we make to ourselves and to one another. This congregation observes a ritual for each season, for each of the classic 4 elements. In spring, we observe the classic Unitarian Universalist tradition of flower communion, celebrating the element of earth. In the summer, we have our water communion, and in the fall, our bread communion, which celebrates the element of air. Fire communion we celebrate here in the cold and darker days of winter. Fire can both create and destroy. Fire warms our bodies and our hearts and our spirits. Fire reaches up high into the sky. We forge so much in fire, and today's ritual will help us to forge our path for the new year.
Today, we invite you all to lift up your intentions for the new year and to let go of those things from the past which no longer serve you. First, we'll have a few moments of reflection on the things we wish to lift up, and those we wish to let go. Then we'll participate in the fire communion ritual, which we'll explain when we come to it. Now, please settle yourself comfortably and give attention to those things you would like to lift up on the winds of the new year. Perhaps you have a single word or practice you'd like to begin or change. Perhaps you select a single word as a guide and touchstone for the year. Generosity, kindness, conviction, heart, compassion. Also give thought to how you'll treat yourself in the moments when you are unable to live up to your best intentions and expectations. Prepare to forgive yourself, to consider with honesty and kindness what you might do differently.
And now you've had a brief moment to consider what you might like to lift up. We'd also like to ask you to turn your attention maybe to some things you might want to let go of. Perhaps it's a resolution or a promise that you made to yourself last year that you discovered didn't work in the way that you thought or hoped it might. Maybe it's a pattern or habit that you've wanted to change and have been uncertain how to begin. Maybe it is a relationship or a boundary that has changed in ways where you no longer feel welcome or comfortable. Consider a single word or simple phrase that sums up the thing you would like to let go of this year. Again, give a thought as to how you will show love and compassion to yourself if the act is harder than the imagining, as it so often is.
An intention you make for yourself in isolation may never grow. By choosing to make these declarations in community, then we are witnessing this act with and for one another. During this part of our ritual, we will take symbolic action that stands in for the ways we hope to live into our intentions for the new year. We'll write our words on slips of paper and we'll burn them. As the words are consumed in flame, those things we wish to release from the past will fly away from us, and those things we wish to pay special attention to in the future will be set into the winds ahead of us, reassuring us when we may feel we are losing our way.
May all that you release here today cease to burden you, and may all that you intend for the future be lifted up to ease the way into the future that you seek.
Want to tell me a few? Our reading this morning, Making Things by Major Jackson. Suddenly, I had to skewer all my prayers and slow roast them in the open-air kitchen of my imagination. I had to shovel fire into my laughter and keep my eyes from blinking. I had to fuss like a cook simmering storms. I had to move like a ballet dancer, but without the vanity and self-consciousness of tradition. I had to blur my scars so I could write into time and carry the sensation of walking like a morose and heavy American sporting a yellow ascot over Pont Saint-Michel. I want to be all razzle-dazzle before the dark-cloaked one arrives for a last game of chess. My font of feelings is a waterfall, and I live as if no toupees exist on earth, or masks that silence the oppressed, or anything that does not applaud the sycamore's tribute to the red flame, like the heat beneath my grandmother's heart, who never raised a ghost, but a storm. So look at me, standing on the porch, laughing at the creek, threatening to become a raging river.
We sometimes think of the power of fire as something fast, as our intentions went up in a puff of magician's flash paper, as one candle flame may quickly spark 1,000 other candle flames, as a bit of cooking oil splashing on the stove may send us scrambling for the flour. Fast. Fire can move fast. When we talk about the gifts of fire, we think of light, we think of heat. Those are immediate and noticeable even with the smallest flame. When we talk about fire as a tool that can give us gifts and also can take things from us, we think of fire as destructive, even explosive, fast. This morning, I want to talk a little bit about slow fire. Suddenly, I had to skewer all my prayers and slow roast them in the open-air kitchen of my imagination. So thank you, Julie, for that wonderful reading of Major Jackson's Making Things. It uses all these cooking terms: skewer, slow roast, simmering. There are many ways that we use fire to make and to create. We fire clay in a kiln to make pottery. We melt hot glue to make crafts. We solder. We shape wood with fire. And we also cook. Within our ritual, yes, we used flash paper. The necessity of allowing time and space for everyone to participate meant that we could not slow roast our hopes and dreams today, that we could not use the slow alchemical nature of cooking to lift our intentions on fragrant smoke. But when it comes to the new year, I urge us to consider the slow burn of change. There can be a very rushed feeling to this time of year. For those of us who had both the audacity and privilege to take time to slow down in the last few weeks, whether it was hours or days, the world now tells us that time is over. It's time to be productive, time to get out that notebook, that 2024 planner, that whiteboard, that spreadsheet, and figure out how we're going to remake ourselves this year. And we're supposed to do this every year. Can you imagine who came up with this? We think of making things. Our poet reminds us that many things that we make take time. Slow roasting, simmering storms, moving like a ballet dancer, the amount of training and time that would take. Writing into time, living every day so you fully inhabit a world where toupees don't exist, and neither do any masks that silence the oppressed. The changes we want to see, both in ourselves and in the world, usually do not happen quickly. Certainly, there are moments in every life that shock us, startle us into quick action. The very first word in our poem today is suddenly, and while we do not know what occasioned this quickness within the poet, we can think of moments in our own lives that precipitated rapid change. And yet, we are talking today about the slow burn of change. Even those precipitating events that come upon us suddenly often ask of us a kind of patience. That patience is not meant to belie urgency, but rather to remind us that we need to pace ourselves. I want to be all razzle-dazzle before the dark-cloaked one arrives for a last game of chess. All razzle-dazzle. So if you pick words of the year, I'm seriously thinking about making razzle-dazzle my word. It counts. It's a hyphenate. It can be one word. What are the things I want to create while I'm here? What are the ways that I can imagine slow change taking hold in my heart? Can the slowness of real, deep change be a comfort to me in those sudden moments of change when they come out of nowhere to startle me, to shock me out of my complacency? Maybe I haven't been giving attention to the masks silencing the voices of the oppressed. Maybe I haven't been giving attention to the existence of toupees. And they exist because someone somewhere thinks they are needed, thinks that change can be stoppered like time also cannot be, thinks that there's only one proper way to look or do or be human. So look at me standing on the porch laughing at the creek threatening to become a raging river. Last line of the poem. Creek doesn't become a raging river overnight until it does. We laugh because we know change is coming. We know fast change is coming, and we know slow change is coming. We know a lot of change is coming in 2024. It's an election year, a vital opportunity to join the forces aligning to protect and defend the very institution of democracy, to counter the harmful narratives that we were reminded of just yesterday on the 3-year anniversary of the literal attack on democracy that happened on January 6, 2021. We know that we enter this year with war raging in parts of the world, with injustice still present in our own cities and towns. We know that in the first 5 days of the year, there were 5 mass shootings. We know that the slow movement of climate change is speeding up. But we also know that we enter this year with hope burning beneath our hearts, preparing to raise not a ghost, but a storm. We know we enter this year as a part of this faith community that is willing to examine the places where it has fallen short of the mark and to try to correct them. We know the power of cumulative small changes that compound over time. Though we flash fire our intentions to send them out on the winds of change, we know that both patience and courage are required to do the day-to-day work of challenging our own default settings. We know that if we fail to be our best selves in one moment, that we have moment upon moment upon moment to do things differently, to make different, better choices, to expand our minds and hearts to the ideas of a more broad and expansive world. A world at peace. A world ready to do the work of slow change, even as it becomes agile enough to respond quickly to crisis. This is the world I want to live in, all razzle-dazzle, going slow until the fast change comes, growing more agile and forgiving and loving in the face of every threat, tending to the slow fire of change, tending to the hearth fires and home fires, as well as the signal fires and warming fires. The world turns, and we turn, and we laugh together, knowing we are strong enough for the coming change. So may it be.
From deep in my heart, I illuminate my love. From deep in my heart, I illuminate my life. From deep in my heart, I reach out and touch. When our spirits unite, our light shines bright. With every word I speak, I illuminate my love. With every word I speak, I illuminate my life. With every word I speak, I reach out and touch. When our spirits unite, our light shines bright. I take, I illuminate my life. With every step I take, I reach out and touch. When our spirits unite, our light shines bright.
We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
So, as we conclude the first week of the 52 weeks that will comprise 2024, consider in your heart the slow burn of change and let the fast flash of inspiration that this faith community brings you accompany you into the days and weeks ahead. So may it be.